just see like, girl, you ashy.
They are seeing everything. If you feel uncomfortable, girl. Hey girl or guy, whichever one it is. I'm pretty sure you came to my video because you wanted to know what Meps was gonna be like, or you wanted to become prepared so you know what to expect. I've been to Meps like 4 different times, so yeah, I really know what's gonna help you pass. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it because we not wasting no time over here. So the first thing that I am going to advise you if you are going to Meps is please make sure to pack lightly when you're going to the hotel because you do not need a lot of stuff. Literally, you only need the clothes that you are wearing on your back, something to sleep in, and then something to wear for the next day when you go to get your physical done. The next thing I would advise you is when you go to sleep that night at the hotel, make sure you get enough sleep because girl, you're gonna wake up super early the next morning. Unless you are a morning person, you know how to go to bed late and then wake up the next morning bright, early, crack of dawn, roostering, then go ahead and go to sleep late. But if you are not a morning person, if you are not a morning girl, I suggest you wake up early, go to bed early so you can wake up early, because they will have you up in the morning so you can be downstairs at a certain time so that everyone can eat breakfast and then you can go on the shuttle to Meps. The next thing that I advise you is have all of your information in a binder so that once you go to Meps, all that information is there. It won't have to be, confusion, and you'll know what you need. Really, the only thing that I really had to bring forward was my social security and my ID. So you can have your driver's license or your ID, whichever one, just make sure that you have those with you. The third thing that I'm gonna tell you is that, so once you are done with breakfast and everything, you woke up, you're in the shuttle, you make it to Meps. The people at Meps are not gonna be the friendliest, welcoming, open arms type of gals, okay? And guys, this is like a universal thing, I guess, but I've heard lots of things about how Meps could be very intimidating, not only because of the actual physicals and the qualifications, but the people as well. So just make sure to not take everything so personal. And yeah, once you get to Meps though, you meet the people and they give you like a small little briefing after you get off the shuttle. You are gonna have to go through security. Once you go through security, they're gonna have you put all of your belongings in a locker. That's how it was for me. I live in the state of Michigan. I know every state can be different, but for Michigan, they did have us put all of our belongings in a locker, and then you're gonna go to whichever room that you're supposed to go to depending on your branch. So I went to the Air Force room, and let me tell you, sometimes the people are not gonna be there at the time they're supposed to be there. That's just how it is. Be patient. Don't get antsy, okay? Because they're gonna come eventually, and you just gotta have patience. So my next advice will be have patience walking in. The next thing I'm gonna tell you, once you come out of the office, they are gonna tell you to stand in a line, and then you're gonna have to get your papers and everything, and then that's when the actual physical begins. I know at the Meps that I went to, like I said, it was in Michigan, we were all kind of like in a group doing everything together. So the first thing that I went to was hearing, and this was just like a regular standard hearing test. And then, was it hearing first? No, actually they're gonna make you like look into this thing. They're gonna make you look into this thing and like read off the words, kind of like a normal vision test that you might have had when you were like younger in primary school. It's the same thing, you just got to read it to them. Make sure you're confident in what you're saying, reading everything, because girl, we know you can see, we know you can hear, or if you can't, but most of the time, most of the people passed it. So yeah, the first thing that we really had to do in the actual physical was read out what we saw in the little thing that we had to look in. And then the next thing that we went into was the hearing. And they all took us into like this classroom, kind of like it had chairs and everything. We all had to sit down, and then we went through a small briefing of like the physical was going to be about. And so it was just telling us like how they did have to check downstairs just to make sure you are qualified excuse me, you are qualified to actually pass the test and be in whatever branch you're trying to join. Once we were finished with the briefing, we did have to do a breathalyzer test. Then that's when everyone kind of split up again, and the girls were with the girls mostly and the guys were with the guys for the most part. Like during the standard stuff, the hearing and vision test, you're going to be like with other girls and guys. You are going to have to get blood drawn. You are going to have to take urine test, and with a urine test you are going to have to pee in a cup in front of someone, and they will make you drink until you are able to pee. This is just to make sure that you know you are not pregnant if you're a female, and everything's all good. I think they also test for HIV with the blood. They test for HIV and pregnancy with the blood. So yes, you are going to get your blood drawn, and you are going to have to take a urine test, and you are going to have to pee in front of somebody in a cup. And let me tell you, it's not that embarrassing or nerve-wracking. Like, if you feel uncomfortable, girl, you better get used to it, because I heard that basic gonna be doing other stuff. Well, if you feel uncomfortable, just know that it is not gonna be long. It's only gonna be for a couple of minutes that you're gonna have to do it. So just pee in the cup, get it over with. Once you are done taking your hearing test, vision test, breathalyzer, the blood test, and did I already say urine test? Yeah, all of that stuff, you're gonna go in a separate room with the doctor, and he is gonna make you duck walk. He or she, whoever, the doctor's gonna make you duck walk. They're gonna ask you about all of your medical history just to make sure that you haven't had any serious injuries that would disqualify you from enlisting and all that good stuff. Once you're done with the doctor and he's done asking you all of your questions and stuff, most of the questions just consist of like if anything has ever happened to you. So like if you've broken an arm, a leg, anything serious like that, like a really serious injury where maybe you had to stay in the hospital for a couple of days, that's all going to happen when you go to the doctor separately by yourself. That is why I say make sure that you get enough rest the day before, because you're not the only person who's going to be going through this most of the time. You're going to be doing it with other people. You just want to make sure that you're well rested so that you have the energy to get up and actually wait to do all of this stuff, because you're not the only person who's going to have to get tested. The next thing that you're going to do once you are done with that is you're going to go in a room, and this is kind of like where all of the women are together and all of the guys are together. I'm going to have you take off all of your clothes, and then you're going to go in this garment, and it is kind of like the ones that they give you at the hospital. I mean, I've never been to the hospital like to stay for myself, but I've just seen them before. So they're gonna give you kind of like this garment, and you're gonna fully undress, take literally everything off. Also, y'all, make sure that you put enough lotion on, because let me tell y'all, it's so cold sometimes in those buildings, and you just do not want to be ashy, and the doctor's checking up on you, and they just
See, like, girl, you ashy. You ain't got no.
they ain't gonna say that, but you know, just so you feel more comfortable when they are doing the physical test, you know that, you know, okay, I'm moisturized. Like, it just makes you feel a little bit more better about yourself since they are seeing everything. But yeah, so for me personally, I was in a room with 3 other girls, and we all had to take off our clothes. I don't know how other Meps are, but for the Meps in Michigan, we did have separate stalls. So the doctor, when she came in, she just told us all to undress. Once you're all undressed, you're separately gonna go into a different room with a different doctor, and I know I got a female doctor, and then I think also the males got examined by a male doctor, and then we also had someone other than a doctor there. So I think she was like someone who worked at Meps, and she was in the Coast Guard. So basically she just kind of like makes sure that, you know, the doctor's doing what she's supposed to do, just kind of somewhere there, making sure that everything's going okay. But yeah, they do check your downstairs area. They just take a little peek, and nothing else happens other than that. So I wouldn't be so concerned about like the actual examination for when they look at your girl downstairs, because it's literally just a look up, make sure everything's good, and then they're also gonna look and see like, you know, how did you fall, like all that stuff. That is literally what the examination is gonna consist of. And let me tell you. So this was the first time that I had to come back to Meps again because of a small issue. So they are gonna check your ears. If you feel like you got too much earwax in your ears, clean it out or go to urgent care and have them flush it out, because they will send you to urgent care if they don't have a specific tool. That is what happened to me. So I strongly suggest that, you know, you make sure that you don't have earwax in your ears, because that can disqualify you. Y'all, when I went to urgent care though, they told me I didn't even have no earwax in my ears. I really recommend, if you feel like you do have a lot of earwax, to get some eardrops and put those in before your examination day at Meps, just to make sure that you qualify that day and you don't have to come back, because that is what happened to me. So just make sure. And y'all, I clean my ears on a daily, so I don't know what that was all about. Once you are done with all of that, you're gonna go back to your room that you went to when you first got there. So whether you're in the Marines, Navy, Army, Air Force, whatever room you gotta go, you're gonna go there. And then you're gonna sit down with someone. Most of the time, if you made it to this point, that's when you actually start looking at, you know, okay, these are the jobs that I qualify for. This is a job that I want to put on my list, and so on and so forth. Like I said, this is only if you made it past this point. A lot of times, some people have to come back. I know I did a lot of times before I actually made it to that point. Don't feel discouraged. You're gonna make it. Just keep coming back if you feel like this is what you are supposed to do. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's really all the tips that I have. Don't stress anything. Just be very, very positive. Be very intuitive. Know why you're doing this. And like I said, if you don't pass the first time, don't give up that first time, because it took me 4 times. The 3rd time is definitely not always the time. The 4th time might be the time. So yeah, that's just some things that you should know before going to Meps. And I just want to give you a little, you know, good luck on your journey. And yeah. Bye, y'all.